everybody and welcome back to another trip report. Today I'm here at Sydney Kingsford Smith International Airport at Terminal 1 or the International Terminal. I'm very excited today because today I'm going to be flying from here in Sydney over to Nouméa in New Caledonia, which is, I believe, an overseas French territory. On board an A320neo, by the way, which is the first on YouTube. Okay, so now here inside the terminal, first up I can see the American Airlines and Philippine Airlines check-in desk, but now let's find our check-in. A little bit of information on AirCalin if you don't already know much about them. It has a very small fleet of 3 aircraft, that being 2 Airbus A320-900neos and 1 Airbus A320neo, which is what we're going to be travelling on today. Okay, so it's very confusing where it is, but I think it's here where the Thai Airways desk is, but it doesn't open until 3 hours before departure, so we still have about 20 minutes. Now time to check in. Okay, so after about 20 minutes, check-in has now been completed. I have my boarding pass. Now let's go down here and find security. By the way, the check-in staff were pretty friendly, and there was priority check-in for premium economy class passengers, as the Airbus A320neo does not feature business class. Okay, so just gone through security now. Airside only took about 10 minutes, thanks to my grandfather's Qantas Gold status. Massive difference there. Basically was able to go straight through baggage check. So yeah, that definitely was handy. Otherwise it probably would have taken close to an hour of massive lines. Okay, so now that we're airside, here's all of the duty-free, massive duty-free section here in Sydney. If you have business class gold status, World Sapphire or Qantas Club, then you're eligible for this lounge. Let's go check it out. So it turns out, unfortunately, we're not allowed in there, even though the AirCalin staff at check-in told us we could, because we're not on a Qantas code share ticket. Even though this flight does share a code share with Qantas, we're not booked, like we didn't book through Qantas. So yeah, not particularly pleased. Okay, so since there's no lounge I can get into, now time to go and sit down and get a coffee or something, and do some plane spotting. My aircraft for today is just taxiing in here from Nouméa. My aircraft for today is just pulling in here. This is Foxtrot, Oscar Tango, India Bravo. It's a 2020 built Airbus A320neo delivered brand new to AirCalin in 2020. This aircraft should still be very new, considering it's spent most of its life during COVID and was delivered right in the peak. Thank you. Now time to board. The gate staff certainly got the job done, but very quick, if you know what I mean. You probably don't. Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome aboard the AirCalin A320. There's 2 rows of premium economy class, which I think just have extra legroom, not exactly sure. Economy is in a 3-3 layout. My seat for today is 6F on the left side of the aircraft when boarding from the front. Nice view of the engine. Welcome aboard the AirCalin Airbus A320neo. Now let's go through the seat features of this aircraft. Seat 6F in economy class. Okay, so first up, legroom here is about 31 inches. It does feel like it could even be a little bit more than that. It feels very generous. And you have a seat back pocket here. Still quite stiff because it's new. There's a safety card which is still for the 200. Haven't updated that for the Neo, but I don't think it'd be any different. Sick bag, and then you have a IFE, which we'll explore more later. USB port, headphone jack, and then there's a tray table just here, which you can fold down. I don't know what that is. It just looks like little bits of pen. It's a bit on the smaller side, but yeah, there's a cup holder there. Of course, you can pull it back, push it in, and it's not foldable. There's nothing down there. There's also a headrest which you can adjust very nicely. It's very easy to adjust. It also feels very soft. The seat padding itself is pretty solid and comfy. The seat also feels quite wide. So yeah. Overall, I would say that it's a very nice seat for an Airbus A320neo. And I think it is perfectly acceptable for a flight of 2.5 hours. In fact, I think it's very good. And the only other airline that operates this route is Qantas, and it's way better than that. Just realised there's also a pair of earbuds on the seat, which I assume you can plug into the in-flight entertainment.
A320neo de la compagnie AirCalin, destination de Nouméa. Mon nom est Patrick Desarnaud, accompagné de l'officier pilote Monsieur Pierre Billez. Temps de vol aujourd'hui de 2h30 jusqu'à Nouméa. Les conditions météo sur le parcours sont relativement bonnes avec des turbulences dans la montée en croisière et les averses prévues à Nouméa avec une température de 27 degrés ce soir. In the AirCalin flight bound to Nouméa today. Flight time 2 hours and 30 minutes. My name is Patrick Desarnaud. I'll be the captain of this flight. With me in the flight deck, First Officer Pierre Billez. Regarding the weather and ground, light turbulence in the climb, some in the cruise, and showers expected this evening into Tontouta with a temperature of 27 degrees. Thank you very much for choosing AirCalin.
L'officier pilote Pierre Billez ainsi que l'ensemble de l'équipage souhaite la bienvenue à nos clients abonnés et Flying Blue et à tous nos passagers sur ce vol à destination de Nouméa. Ce dernier est effectué en exploitation conjointe avec la compagnie Qantas. Sur ce vol, le port du masque n'est plus obligatoire, mais reste cependant recommandé, car il demeure un moyen efficace de se protéger et de protéger les autres dans un espace clos.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à bord de cet Airbus A320neo d'AirCalin.
Veuillez s'il vous plaît nous accorder votre attention pour la présentation des consignes de sécurité.
Vous trouverez également ces informations pleines de couleurs sur la notice de sécurité située dans la pochette du siège devant vous.
Durant le vol, merci de suivre attentivement les instructions de l'équipage.
Assurez-vous que vos bagages et appareils électroniques les plus...
Si vous voyagez avec un bébé assis sur vos genoux, attachez votre enfant en utilisant une ceinture de sécurité spécifique distribuée par l'équipage. En cas de turbulence, lorsque la consigne lumineuse s'allume, dirigez-vous vers votre siège et attachez votre ceinture. De même, les bébés doivent être maintenus hors des berceaux et attachés sur vos genoux.
L'utilisation des prises des sièges est interdite pendant le roulage, le décollage et l'atterrissage.
Il y a 8 issues de secours sur cet avion. Prenez le temps de repérer la sortie la plus proche. Si nécessaire, enfilez-le et passez la sangle autour de votre taille. Fixez la boucle et tirez sur la sangle pour la serrer. Une fois à l'extérieur de l'appareil et sur
Sécurité.
votre décollage est proche. Assurez-vous que votre ceinture de sécurité est bien attachée, votre tablette et le dossier de votre siège.
Not too sure why we're turning away from the runway. It's slightly concerning. It seemed to me that
Prépare pour le décollage.
it seemed to me that either the pilots got a bit bored and wanted to do a circle. That or we were told to line up from a different taxiway. Now time for takeoff.
Mesdames et messieurs, nous informons qu'il est strictement interdit de fumer à bord. De plus, l'utilisation et la recharge des cigarettes électroniques ne sont pas autorisées. Ladies and gentlemen, reminder that smoking on board is strictly forbidden. Furthermore, using and recharging your e-cigarettes are not allowed. For your safety, please keep your seatbelt fastened till silver sign says to shut off. We always recommend that you please fasten through the flights. your screen overheats, contact the crew.
Poste de pilotage PLC assez attaché.
Now experiencing some very solid turbulence actually.
Mesdames et messieurs, nous passons une zone de forte turbulence. Pour votre sécurité, veuillez s'il vous plaît regagner votre siège et attachez votre ceinture, merci. Ladies and gentlemen, we are passing through a heavy turbulence area. For your safety, will you please go back to your seat and fasten your seatbelt, thank you.
Now up here, I think we're almost at our cruising altitude of what appears to be 37,000 feet. Looks like maybe we're cruising about 100 feet below it. But, yep, nice mood lighting on, and the cabin crew coming around to serve the meal service. I think it's a meal service anyway. Very interested to see what AirCalin has to offer. Okay, so just a couple minutes later, the pretty friendly crew come around to serve me the meal service. So first up we have a little box of a couple of things here. We have a nice water, a Tim Tam back there, nice bread roll which seems somewhat soft, and then some cutlery. There's also an orange juice which I got. There's also alcoholic beverages and soft drinks available. And now let's see what's in here. Okay, so it looks like we have some sort of chicken here with some dressing, some mashed potatoes, and some cooked veggies. Cooked carrot and pea to be specific. Overall, I'd say for this 2.5 hour flight roughly, I think it's pretty good from AirCalin. I'll let you know how it tastes a bit later. Okay, so I've just finished my main meal, I guess you could call it. It's a nice portion, very good portion for a flight like this. It's pretty tasty. It's not like my favourite on a plane, but it's just, you know, a standard tasty meal, if you know what I mean. Also found out that there's cheese under here too, to go with the crackers. So yeah, try that out in just a moment. Okay, so just went through a very small patch of turbulence just there. I finished all my meals, so overall I would say that for a flight of 2.5 hours, I think it's a very, very good amount, and overall I think I'm very satisfied with the meal service here on AirCalin. Also didn't realise that there was a condiment pack in there, which I think just includes like salt and pepper and stuff. So yeah. The cabin crew are now coming around to collect any rubbish that us passengers may have after the meal service. Okay, the cabin crew just came around offering something called brandy, which some of you might know. I didn't until now, but it's a very strong spirit apparently. Not interested. Well, I can't have it because I'm not old enough, obviously, and even if I were, I don't think I would want to. But yeah, still enjoying my tea flavoured milk, and now let's go through the in-flight entertainment. So first up we have the interactive map. So yeah, it's you can move it very nicely and adjust it as you want. And that's something that not all systems have. So that's very much appreciated. As you can see, we're a bit past halfway now. And then if you click on the information here, then you can switch between metric and imperial. So you have plenty of information. The touchscreen is pretty responsive. It wants me to survey, I'll do that later. There's external cameras, which I think is pretty cool. So here's one which is like facing forward, and then there's one on the belly. So, yep. As for movies, there's a pretty small selection. There's 21, but I think this is actually the longest flight that this aircraft operates. Unless Auckland is a little bit longer, I'm not sure. But yeah, so there's only 21 movies. These are all of them. There's a few modern ones, and I think there's a few French ones too, which makes sense. There's also TV shows. There's 32 of them, except most of them have one episode, which I find strange. Because maybe it's just me, but if I watch a series, I kind of get into it, and then I want to watch more. But not here on AirCalin. So, yeah. And then there's music. 84 different things to listen to. So, yep, plenty of music there. Shouldn't run out of that. There's a few games. I've already checked that out. But yeah, none of them are particularly interesting for me, but you know, still something to do. There's also in-flight Wi-Fi, which I checked out. I believe it's $7.50 US for 50 megabytes for an hour, and $11.50 I think for 100 gigabytes for 2 hours, and can't remember how many, sorry, I meant to say 100 megabytes. I can't remember how much it was, maybe 200 megabytes for the entire flight, and that was like 20 something, I think. So, yeah. Look, it's so, I mean, the fact that they offer Wi-Fi is obviously really good, but it's not that cheap. I would say it's probably on the more expensive side. It's not crazy, but yeah. Overall, I think the entertainment system definitely serves its purpose for this short flight. But I would not want to be flying on this on a long haul. So I do hope that the A320neo, which operates flights to Singapore and Tokyo, would have a different entertainment system. So yeah, that's the entertainment system on board AirCalin's Airbus A320.
The rear galley of this aircraft, thank you.
Now heading towards the back of the plane. The crew just made an announcement saying this is an in-flight boutique. I think there's a snack bar at the back. If there is, I must say, phenomenal by AirCalin, because it's a 2.5-hour flight, and sometimes even airlines like Singapore Airlines don't have that on flights to Singapore. Welcome to the world's first AirCalin A320neo loo review. Might even be the first AirCalin loo review, you never know. Okay, so looks like a pretty standard loo. Clean, modern, but there's no real special amenities or anything. And yeah, I'm just waiting for the snack bar. Coat hook. So yeah, just standard really. Hi, what's this back here?
Sorry?
Is this what's going on back here?
It's the duty-free purchase.
Oh, cool.
Duty-free boutique.
Yeah. Not a snack bar, unfortunately, just in-flight duty-free. It's a bit bumpy, actually.
Nous rappelons que vos bagages doivent être rangés dans les coffres ou sous le siège ou faisant face. Les allées issues de secours doivent être dégagées. Nous vous invitons également à consulter la notice de sécurité située à l'approche du siège devant vous. Merci de votre coopération. Ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning our descent towards Nouméa. Would you please return to located seats and kindly avoid the window blinds. A reminder that all luggage must be placed in your overhead lockers under the seat in front of you. The eyes and exits must be clear of all items. We also invite you to read carefully the seat's instruction card located in the seat pocket in front of you.
Okay, and with whatever that was, I do believe that we have just started our descent into Nouméa.
Placez votre dossier, votre repoisson et rangez votre tablette. Nous vous rappelons que les appareils électroniques volumineux tels qu'ordinateurs doivent être rangés dans les coffres à bagages. Par ailleurs, en cas d'évacuation, vous devrez abandonner tous vos bagages à bord. Merci de votre collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our descent and we will be landing shortly. Would you please fasten your seatbelt, put away your table, the back of your seat and your footrest into your prime position.
Now time to start our lovely approach into Nouméa or Tontouta International Airport over some stunning coral reefs.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue en Nouvelle-Calédonie. Il est 15h10 en heure locale. Veuillez garder votre ceinture attachée jusqu'à l'extinction de la consigne lumière chute éventuelle d'objets à l'ouverture des coffres à bagages et de vérifier que vous n'oubliez rien à bord. Merci de veiller à ce que la fiche de déclaration sanitaire soit correctement et entièrement remplie avant votre sortie de l'aéronef. Elle vous sera demandée juste avant votre sortie de l'aérogare par les services phytosanitaires. Au nom d'AirCalin et de tout son équipage, nous avons été ravis de partager ce vol avec vous. Nous serons heureux de vous accueillir de nouveau sur nos lignes et nous souhaitons une très bonne continuation à nos passagers en correspondance. Merci et au revoir. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to New Caledonia. It is 3 p.m. in local time. Please keep your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign has been switched off. Please be careful when opening the overhead lockers, as some objects may fall out. And make sure you don't leave anything on board.
C'est fin de roulage.
Goodbye and thank you.
It's been about almost 15 minutes since we parked at the gate here. No clue what's going on. Merci. Finally deboarding after 15 minutes sitting in the plane. Okay, so it feels very warm here. Hopefully the airport will be cool. It feels like it is starting to. Okay, well, welcome to New Caledonia. Might as well start concluding today's trip report. I concluded the rest after immigration. Well, the journey started out in Sydney. Well, actually, about 2 months, maybe, actually probably only 1 month before today's flight, I got an email saying that my flight had been cancelled and I'd been shifted to one a day earlier, but that was my return leg. So if you like this one, stay tuned because I'm going to be returning on the AirCalin A320neo. But yeah, so that wasn't ideal, but I understand things like that can happen sometimes. So the journey in Sydney started off by finding check-in. The check-in agents were relatively friendly enough anyway, and we checked in about 3 hours before departure, or at least that's when it opened. So yeah, that was all a fine process. However, Sydney is not automated at all when it comes to check-in. So yeah, and then through security, being able to get through quick with one mod Sapphire is very handy. I'm not sure if you can with Velocity Gold as well, hopefully. So yeah, and then unfortunately no lounge exits from Qantas, and the lounge agent was sort of a bit not very friendly. So yeah, the agent told us we could, but apparently not. That's okay, just did some plane spotting and boarded just a couple minutes early. So got a nice warm welcome from the crew. They were very friendly throughout the flight. The seat itself, well, the 737 of Qantas is not quite as good, particularly when it comes to legroom. But yeah, the IFE and stuff was okay. There wasn't heaps on it, but it did the job for the short flight. And then the seat pitch and everything itself was pretty good, and it certainly it felt very spacious. So yeah, and then once we were in the air, the service was sort of, I did a little bit of research and I basically got what I expected, but I think for a 2.5 hour flight it was pretty good. And then the thing that I think was the most impressive was just the tea service. Even just little things like that on a flight of 2.5 hours is very much appreciated. So overall, that was really good. Taste-wise, it was good, but it wasn't anything special. But yeah, anyways, I'm now going to go through immigration and speak to you afterwards. Okay, so I just got my passport stamped, still got to clear the rest of immigration. However, so I'll continue the conclusion. So I was just talking about the service, and overall that was pretty good. Then the duty-free thing was interesting. I don't remember seeing that in the past. We landed on time. In fact, a little bit early, I believe. It did take 15 minutes, however, to get off the plane, which was not ideal. However, you know, that kind of thing happens sometimes. And then, yeah, the immigration, well, the passport stamp wasn't too quick. I would finish it down there. I'll tell you if there was anything, but my mic is about to run out of charge. So, yeah. Overall, I think it was a really nice flight with AirCalin today. A couple strange quirks, really. The safety videos and stuff like that was pretty funny. But overall, I think it was a very nice flight with AirCalin. The biggest question is, I think there's only one day where Qantas and AirCalin have a flight on the same day. And on that day, it's probably an AirCalin A320. I might be wrong though. If you're choosing between a Qantas and AirCalin, I would say unless you have Qantas Gold, if you have Qantas Gold, I would go Qantas. But unless you have Qantas Gold, I think AirCalin is the best option on today's route. especially if you book a return ticket since it's a lot cheaper. Anyways, I would like to thank you all for watching today's video. A like and subscription if you enjoyed would be very much appreciated. Check out my community tab for polls and just upcoming schedules and stuff like that. Also check out my website aviation763.com for information on upcoming flights and easier navigation to certain airlines trip reports. Thank you to all my amazing patrons who helped to make these videos possible. Your support is very, very much appreciated. And finally, check out my Instagram, which is aviation763_ for somewhat live updates. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and I hope to see you in my next video.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to New Caledonia. It is 3 p.m. in local time.